The 2025 Goodwood Festival of Speed wasn't a car show, it was a 4-day horsepower hurricane. From July 10th to 13th, over 200,000 gearheads swarmed the Goodwood estate in West Sussex for the wildest, loudest, most gloriously over-the-top celebration of speed on Earth. Hypercars worth more than private islands launched up the Hillclimb like caffeinated missiles, while V12s screamed loud enough to shake the Queen's china. This year's theme, the winning Formula Champions and Challengers, wasn't just a slogan, it was war. Racing legends returned, EVs showed up with silent fury, and fans lost their collective minds at least once every 15 minutes. If you thought this was about quiet appreciation of engineering, think again. This was pure adrenaline in carbon fiber form, and we're bringing you the real story behind it all. The F1 balcony was basically Mount Olympus. Someone at Goodwood said, "What if we took every racing god still breathing and shoved them onto a single balcony?" And then they actually did it. 7 Formula One world champions Prost, Stewart, Fittipaldi, Mansell, Hakkinen, Villeneuve, and Andretti stood shoulder to shoulder like it was the UN of speed. That's 14 world titles in one photo. The crowd went silent. A child dropped their overpriced Red Bull. Grown adults started chanting in octane. It was history standing still, only slightly louder and smelling like gasoline. If egos were engines, that balcony could have powered the entire UK for a week. People didn't just take photos, they prayed with their phone cameras. Even the marshals looked like they'd seen the face of motorsport heaven. Someone in the crowd passed out, possibly from excitement, possibly from trying to pronounce Fittipaldi while crying. This wasn't a photo op. It was the racing world's version of a religious relic being unveiled. 60 years of making everyone else look lazy. As if the Legends Parade wasn't enough, Goodwood rolled out the red carpet for Gordon Murray, the man responsible for some of the most absurdly beautiful machines on 4 wheels. The event honored his 60-year reign of mechanical wizardry, with everything from his early Brabham F1 cars to the latest GMA T.50 and T.33 masterpieces on display. It was less of a tribute and more of a flex. Other car designers must have walked past his stand muttering, "Okay, show off." But when you invent cars that sound like orchestras with anger issues and look like spaceships on keto diets, you've earned it. Fans swarmed the GMA zone like moths to a magnesium fire. The T.50's V12 howled like it was personally offended by silence. One fan proposed to a valve cover. Another wept into his brochure. And Murray? He stood calm as ever, like a wizard watching mere mortals try to reverse engineer magic. The Hillclimb. Less driving, more mechanical mayhem. The Hillclimb is the crown jewel of Goodwood, where cars, and their slightly unhinged drivers, attempt to shoot up a 1.16-mile track with the subtlety of a rocket launch. This year, the time shootout had one mission: make physics cry. Romain Dumas returned, still high on tire smoke from his 2024 victory in the 1,400 PS Ford Supervan 4.2. He wasn't there to sip tea. The competition was brutal. By the time the top 10 runs concluded, the only thing more exhausted than the cars were the fans' necks from whipping around so much. Some cars flew up the hill like they were being chased by their warranty departments. Others tried so hard they left rubber trails that might qualify as abstract art. There were close calls, controlled chaos, and one guy who nearly reversed into legend status. The announcers lost their voices. The crowd lost their minds. And the tarmac? It's probably still traumatized. EVs crash the party and take the cake. In what can only be described as the Tesla effect gone turbo, electric vehicles didn't just participate, they dominated. The reaction from the traditional petrolheads was somewhere between betrayed and mildly impressed. The Porsche Cayenne EV showed up looking like it had swallowed a nuclear reactor. It's allegedly pushing over 1,000 horsepower, which is a cute way of saying it could tow a mountain. Meanwhile, the Hyundai Ioniq 6N debuted with 650 horsepower and a 0 to 62 miles per hour time faster than most people's Wi-Fi. BYD's Z9 GT delivered an earth-shaking 858 brake horsepower and a range of 391 miles, aka all of Europe on a single charge. Honda's Super EV concept looked like it came with a built-in time machine. And Alpine's 290 Rally looked so fast standing still that people were scared to touch it. One kid asked if it ran on lightning. An elderly man swore he felt his mustache twitch. Even MG showed up cool. Somewhere, Jeremy Clarkson sneezed violently and didn't know why. Porsche wasn't there to make friends. The Porsche stand was less a booth and more a national museum sponsored by horsepower. They rolled out everything: 911 GT3 RS, the Manthe racing variants, the RSRs, Spiders, 963 racers. If you thought Porsche had one personality, they showed up with 17. But the biggest head-turner? A custom 911 GT3 RS co-designed with Dua Lipa. Because what screams precision German engineering more than one of the world's biggest pop stars? This wasn't just marketing. This was the ultimate crossover event. The car made its first appearance at the Monaco Grand Prix, then landed at Goodwood like Beyoncé at a high school talent show. Cameras flashed. Instagram crashed. People debated whether it was street legal, art, or both. The paint was so shiny, it reflected existential crises. It didn't just say, fast. It whispered, "Try me," in 5 languages. And once it was revealed the car would be auctioned for charity, even the cynics clapped. Sound therapy powered by V12. If your ears weren't ringing after Goodwood, you were either wearing industrial-grade headphones or born without joy. The festival released its list of the 21 best-sounding cars of 2025, and they weren't kidding. The Pagani Huayra are screamed like a caffeinated soprano with commitment issues. The Ferrari F399 sounded like every 1990s F1 video game finally realized. And the Bugatti Bolide? That car didn't rev. It growled like a demon doing breathing exercises. V10s barked. V12s wailed. V8s howled like wolves in heat. Some cars were so loud they set off car alarms in other countries. It was an acoustic battlefield, and everyone was happy to be caught in the crossfire. You could feel the sound in your chest like automotive-bass therapy. It was Beethoven meets Burnout. Music with the volume knob broken off. Future Lab. Not everything at Goodwood was loud enough to be heard from space. Some of it was intelligent. Future Lab returned with even more high-tech wizardry. Autonomous racing concepts, AI-powered mobility systems, a 3D printed replica of Shackleton's ship. It was part tech playground, part Silicon Valley fever dream. You could test a drone, print a boat, and be lectured by a robot all before lunch. Somewhere in the corner, a synthetic voice explained how AI was going to optimize motorsport engagement strategies, which sounded suspiciously like replace you with a toaster. The kids loved it. The dads nodded sagely. The engineers took notes. And just when you thought the future couldn't flex harder, the red arrows ripped across the sky like jet-powered punctuation marks. The message? Goodwood isn't stuck in the past, it's inventing the sequel. The ultimate storytelling playground. You'd be forgiven for thinking Goodwood is just about fast cars and loud noises. But dig deeper and you'll realize it's actually the perfect storytelling masterclass. There's tension, conflict, legacy, comebacks, innovation, nostalgia, even a celebrity twist with emotional payoff. Honestly, it's better than most Netflix series. The theme Champions and Challengers wasn't just marketing fluff, it was the blueprint. The champions stood proud, basking in decades of glory. The challengers rolled up in electric silence, daring the old gods to flinch. The result? A narrative so rich, even Shakespeare would have asked for a backstage pass. Every burnout was a plot twist. Every lap a character arc. From turbocharged tension to V12 emotion, Goodwood delivered a cinematic masterpiece written in rubber, filmed in adrenaline, and directed by pure obsession. So, what really happened at the 2025 Goodwood Festival of Speed? Everything. Legends reunited. New machines redefined performance. EVs flexed hard. Celebrities crashed the party in style. Engines sang symphonies. The crowd lost its collective mind at least 4 times an hour. And through it all, storytelling, real, visceral, metal-clad storytelling was the fuel that kept it alive. Goodwood 2025 wasn't just a festival. It was a 4-day masterclass in passion, engineering, heritage, and the purest kind of joy. Mechanical mayhem with meaning. Now the real question is, next year, are you coming to watch or to be part of the story? If this video revved your mental engine, hit subscribe that share button like a launch control switch. And drop your favorite car or Goodwood moment in the comments. Bonus points for naming something louder than a Pagani. Need help turning your own story into a crowd puller? You know where to find me.